Extravagant defined. Merriam-Webster defines the word extravagant like this. Extravagant. Adjective. Exceeding the limits of reason. Extremely elaborate. Lacking in restraint. Synonyms. Profuse, lavish, bountiful. It carries the idea of something that is over the top, as we would say. What does the word extravagant mean to you? Think back. Have you ever known a person you would call extravagant? We mostly think of this attribute surfacing in a person's lifestyle, habits, and surroundings. And more often than not, extravagance involves possessions, a certain bent toward excess. In Western culture, we associate extravagance with possessions and, by extension, wealth. It is connected with purchasing ability, and usually power. So, to link extravagance with a homeless person who had only one change of clothes and was an itinerant teacher dependent upon others for food and support seems a stretch. Yet Jesus was the most extravagant person who ever lived. In order to even speak of him in such terms, we have to think of extravagance in different ways, to redefine our notion of exorbitant, to cut new channels of thought in our minds and refocus our attention on inner attributes, spiritual aspects, the intangibles of relationship, to ponder anew what it means to be a caring person, a thoughtful person, and what defines humility. These lead us to ponder the fullness of God's love, extravagant beyond measure, and exposed for all to see in the person of Jesus Christ. Understanding that we can never wrap our minds around the vastness of his love for us, we will examine one facet of his love at a time. We will try to pull back the veil, so to speak, and peer into his extravagant love. Love for the world, love for one. Several months ago, I was listening to a minister quoting John 3, verse 16. It's a verse that's probably the most familiar to believers and non-believers alike. So sometimes, when we hear it, we are almost not hearing it. Except on this occasion, there was something about the way the minister was emphasizing the words that caused me to get completely stuck on the very first phrase. For God so loved the world. I began to think of the total, all-inclusive nature of that statement. It doesn't say he loves just believers and not those who don't love him, or just one denomination and not another, but the world. Totally, completely, with no qualifications whatsoever. Everyone, everywhere, regardless of who they are or the circumstances of their lives. He loves them. Then, just recently, something occurred that started me thinking anew about the extravagant nature of God's love for us. It happened in a most unexpected way one Saturday morning, when I often host prayer and share brunches in our home for women of all ages, normally with great turnouts. On this particular Saturday, more than 40 ladies had been planning to attend. But beginning on Friday night and continuing right through until the next morning, over half of those who had confirmed they were coming began canceling. They called, emailed, and texted, each one apologizing profusely about unexpected conflicts. Things come up. I totally realized that. However, I commented to my husband how odd it was, vaguely wondering if the Lord might be up to something. Saturday morning dawned. My guests began arriving, including one beautiful young woman in her late 20s, whom I had met only briefly. She had attended a few sessions of one of my Bible study classes at church, but other than that, I knew little about her. As the morning progressed, it became increasingly apparent that there was great need in her life. For these brunches, I usually ask an older woman to share a little personal testimony. The younger women seem to love to hear these life experiences and journeys with the Lord.